Morning, Michael.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I tell you what, Bill, you're really getting it today.
I really am, Mike. I need you here for my backup, my friend. Fly co-pilot
I wanted
with
to
me.
be there to pile on.
No, you would not do that. You're
yes,
too nice a guy.
Trust me, Mike, you weren't here during the break. You got your share.
Yeah, see, you're not missing anything. Yeah, man. You're in Charleston for interims. Mike, when do these conclude?
Yes,
when do they conclude this week?
My last meeting is Tuesday evening, so I'll be headed back to Martinsburg Wednesday morning.
And then what are your interim committees?
Today I have finance and health. Tomorrow I have LACRA, which is the legislative oversight for health, and technology and infrastructure.
Some good stuff to get into there. First, I want to get your take on the other side with the election of Randy Smith as the next Senate president. Have you had any interactions with Randy?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him last night after his victory. A bunch of them came out to celebrate at one of the restaurants that we were sitting eating at. So we saw him when he came out after his big win. Nothing but smiles. I don't know that I'm a little surprised. I thought that the Tacubo Tar camps had worked something out to overcome Randy's lead, but obviously that didn't happen. So Randy's been the leader in that race, I think, since day one. So it's not real surprising.
What do you know him about him as a man, a legislator? What kind of a Senate president do you think he will be?
Well, not a whole lot, but I think he's probably further to the right than what we've had here in the recent past with Craig. So it may be in line with the new governor we have, who's a little farther to the right. So they may match up pretty well.
Do you anticipate Roger Hanshaw will return as Speaker in the House?
I do anticipate that 100%.
The news reported that he was elected as Speaker.
As Speaker? Yeah, well, that's why I believe that'll happen 100%.
Okay.
But that would be the informal vote in caucus. The formal vote does not happen.
That is correct. The formal vote happens with the Dems the first day of the new session will be the official. But, we all caucus and vote in caucus, and he has to have somebody to run against him. So, and that just didn't happen this time. So it was unanimous.
Any surprises that came out of caucus this time, Mike?
Well, I really can't talk about caucus.
Okay.
It's sort of like
yeah.
Fight Club. What happens in caucus, that's the caucus.
Okay.
Can't talk about Fight Club. First rule of Fight Club, Bill. Can't talk about Fight Club. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, we had been talking about it just a second ago. We were talking about Randy Smith. That was in caucus.
That was in caucus, but then they make that announcement after they come out of caucus. You sort of know who it's going to be. But theirs isn't official either until January.
And Craig talked about that too when he was on in the first segment. That there are still some things that could happen that could upset that apple cart.
Mike, shifting gears to the governor, are you hearing any rumors of how his cabinet may flush out?
No, he's been keeping that really tight-lipped, close to the vest. It's difficult to even get a meeting with him right now. I know he has some people working on that, trying to build his team together. But as far as being very specific about who's going to get what, I don't think he's made any decisions at all. He may have some ideas of where he wants people to go, but to my knowledge, he hasn't notified anybody yet.
Who are some of the folks on the inner circle advising? I suspect Eric Household is one. Who might be some of the others?
Well, Eric is really close with him and has been since day one. Eric's going around and doing some events and is there on behalf of the governor most of the time rather than the lame duck delegate that he is. he comes and represents Patrick Morrissey. So I think he's one of the key individuals in the inner circle. I don't know who any of the others are. I've heard some rumors, but don't know anybody definite.
Let's talk about your
Other than that.
Your interim committee meetings here with your involvement with the health committees, Mike. In regards to the restructuring that has taken place over the last year, will there be any additional tinkering that goes on with that restructuring that took place?
I don't think so. I don't think with the restructuring portion of it. I think it's going to stay pretty much the way it is. And give it a few more years before any changes are made, or whether we think we need any changes. I do think there is an active attempt to sell off some of the state hospitals that we run, which I'm glad to hear, because we operate those at a huge loss. We're not very good at running hospitals, so I believe, I've said for a long time, we need to get out of that business. So I think there's an attempt to do that. I think DHHR may see some additional budget cuts this coming year, especially with the new governor coming in. I think he is going to look for a lot of efficiencies in a lot of different areas, and I think DHHR could be one of those ones that gets hit with a lot of programs being reduced or removed.
That implies that it is an inefficient system, Mike, that currently is overspending or not spending all of what it usually gets allotted. Am I reading that correctly?
Well, I would say, yeah, probably that is the opinion of a lot of people. But then you have to go in and do a deep dive and find where are they not spending properly. And sometimes, I've spoken to this before as well. It's not that they're not spending the money, but they're not spending it where the legislature has allocated it. And there was too much moving money around. Them stealing money from one line item to feed another line item that they think is a higher priority. And the legislature has gone in over the past couple of years and has told them, that's not your job. It's our job to decide where the money goes. When we approve a budget, you don't just get an open budget and spend it wherever the hell you want to.
Mike, going back to the closing of the various, getting the state out of running hospitals, I suspect the hospitals we're talking about are in the rural parts of the state. Have there been definitive studies done on the impact of medical care to these areas?
Well, when I say get rid of hospitals, I'm not talking about hospitals like urgent care or emergency rooms and those types of hospitals. I'm talking about, we're running nursing homes, and quite a few of them right now. So they're long-term nursing homes, some psych hospitals where, you house those patients for long periods of time, usually until their death. And the private sector has nursing homes, so I don't understand why the state needs to have nursing homes. The private sector can take care of that because like I said before, we don't do it very well. We have people in hospitals that are over 100 years old. They're deficient, and we haven't kept up with the maintenance on them. They're just costing millions of dollars. And it's time to get rid of those and get out of the, I should say nursing home business, not the hospital business, but the nursing home business. I understand the need for psych hospitals in the state. No private organization is going to take on a psych hospital. There's just no money in it at all. But they are needed. We need to have psych hospitals. I think we need to spread them out. We have two now. Both of them are down in the lower parts of the state. I think we need to centrally locate those and upgrade them.
Hey, Mike, is there any further word or on the mystery of the special session that was going to be and then wasn't then disappeared, and we've heard about tens of billions of dollars?
Speculation, and I've heard rumors and different speculation. I think what it came down to was procedure, and whether or not procedurally we could have a special session in December of an election year. And if we did, who voted? Was it the 86th legislature or the 87th legislature? So there was a lot of debate back and forth about that, and some disagreement amongst the lawyers that ultimately decide that, or even the Supreme Court. So I think they felt best, hey, we just need to stop this right now before we make a mistake, and just hold off and take it up possibly in January, February.
Jeff Jenkins has an article on Metro News that addresses just this. And Brian Abraham, the chief of staff for the Justice Administration, is quoted. And he says, a few weeks ago, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity presented itself. A major company that currently does business in West Virginia, together with one of our utility companies and leadership from both the House and the Senate, approached us with a proposal to change one section of code to enable the investment of tens of billions of dollars without any request for public funds in southern West Virginia. My understanding is Logan County. That's not in the article to this point, but that's my understanding of it.
Correct.
Abraham said, tens of billions of dollars of investment in an area that too many people have written off. Tens of billions of dollars for the hardworking people who still call southern West Virginia home. Tens of billions of dollars of economic activity to infuse into the community, provide tax dollars for schools, and create jobs during construction and once built. Abraham said it was a mandatory requirement by Governor Justice to make sure the project didn't hurt thermal coal jobs in the state, which implies to me that it involved something that was maybe in green energy. Abraham said they tried to get a special session worked out, but they couldn't. Mike.
Well, it always amazes me how these opportunities are once in a lifetime, and they have to happen right now. Now, what I've heard is that they've been working on this for months. And when I say they, I'm going to say the governor's office and the Senate and the House behind closed doors with the leadership teams. They've been working on this. So now all of a sudden it has to be done immediately. Once they figured out what they want to do, bam, we have to do it immediately. It can't wait till January. It can't wait till February. When we can bring out all of the aspects of what the project is and ask questions and see what this is going to do for Logan County, it has to be done right this minute. I think the legislature, or the many in the legislature, are tired of those types of ultimatums that we get from the governor. That this can't wait. If they want to invest billions in West Virginia, I'm all for it. I want to see the details, but you can't tell me that they're going to invest billions and they can't wait 60 days.
Yeah, Mike.
To change a law.
Mike, do you have any idea at all what the business may be? I understand it's kind of on the green side. I understand it may be located on the old brown fields, but do you know anything else besides that?
I've heard, and again, this is just rumors and speculation, but I've heard a data center. And yeah, it would probably be on one of the old strip mines where they've done mountaintop clearing. And a lot of times, not so much mountaintop clearing, but when they're mining, there's a lot of the stone and rubble that has to go somewhere. So they just build up the sides of the mountain, and by the time they've mined out that area, all that rock and rubble and everything like that has built its own mountain, if you will, and you end up with these large flat spots up high, and I've seen a few of them in Logan County. So I'm assuming that's where this would be, in one of those large mining areas where they've dumped gravel and flattened out a large part of the top of a mountain. Now, the law that they wanted, the bill that they sent to us, I don't know if you got a copy of that, Rob. The bill they sent us wanted to increase the amount of land that was in that section of code from 2,500 acres to 5,000. So seems to me that was probably going to be a pretty significant development project. But it had to do with some green energy, solar panels and stuff like this. I think they wanted to put on top of the building that they were going. If this was indeed a data center, they wanted to put on top of it to help with the power load that a data center is going to require, and a data center needs lots and lots of power. So, but the solar would have been a minuscule amount of the power that they're going to need for a data center. The majority, just like always, the majority of the electric would have had to come from a coal-fired power plant. So they would have had to increase production in some of those coal-fired power plants down in that area to give that data center the power requirements that it would have needed.
And I'm surprised they're talking about tens of billions of dollars. Yet these data. I'm sorry. Okay, but these data centers are popping up everywhere. You look at a vacant land, and there's a data center popping up the next day or so. 3 Miles Island is an example. I'm puzzled about the magnitude of dollars that's coming in with this project for something that is so frequently built throughout the country. There's a disconnect here. I don't understand.
So I don't ask your question again. There's
yeah,
a disconnect
I'm looking at the scales. We see data centers popping up all over the country. They're not
right.
$10 billion investment. So what makes this unique? If it's a data center, of why so much money is associated with this particular data center?
Well, I think it probably is billions of dollars. Now, I don't know how long sustained that billions of dollars is. Eventually, it's probably billions of dollars worth of site development and building the building that they want. And once it's built, and putting the equipment in that they need, the equipment to run a data center is quite expensive. So once you've made that initial investment, I don't know economically what it would do to that area, but I think it would probably be pretty significant for people in that area. And you're right, you do see data centers popping up all over the place. That's because it takes a lot of people and a lot of computers to house all the information that the government is collecting on you, Bill.
AI requires a lot of energy.
I've heard entirely unsubstantiated rumors that that's actually what the water bottling plant in Jefferson County is a data center. The unidentified company that's doing a water bottling plant that nobody...
Well, if it was a data center, then why is the water the issue? I don't understand that.
Because
either.
they consume millions of gallons of water a day in a data center for cooling and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but wouldn't they cool it and then put it back right into their own aquifer and just recycle the same water over and over again?
I'm not an apologist for the system. Just saying that's a rumor that I heard.
No, I get it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, Mike. A lot of the data centers recirculated.
I heard the other day, which is the first time I heard the other day, that the Berkeley County PSD is running a water line to that site to help offset some of the water needs. Now, that sort of bothers me a little bit. We've talked about the needs of Berkeley County and the water in Berkeley County, and now we're going to help send the water to Jefferson County for one of their industrial sites. I have concerns with that.
Mike, this business deal, as I understand it, it's not dead. It will be considered during the regular session, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics. Like I said earlier, I don't see why they can't wait 60 days. So, in my opinion, it will be taken up when we start the regular session.
And the procedural issues had to do with the changing of the guard because you're flipping about a third of the members of the House. You have new members, existing members.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, well, yes, we're flipping about. I would say this year probably 20%, but 30 overall if you include all of the resignations over the past year.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Now, the newly elected members of the House, they were in the caucus yesterday, were they?
That's correct. So none of the old members, the outgoing members, the I'll say John Hardy's, Espinosa's, householders, none of them were in our caucus yesterday. That was just for the delegate elects and the sitting delegates that won their races.
So how does this work in terms of who gets paid during the pay period if you've got effectively two delegates from the same district? One's allowed to vote, the other one's not allowed to vote but is involved in the interim session. How does that work?
So you're not really officially involved in the interim session until you have been sworn in, and none of the newly elected delegate elects have been sworn in, taken the oath of office, and they won't until January 8th. So they can come down and they can participate, well, not even participate. They can come down and they can observe and watch how the sausage is being made, per se, but they're not allowed to vote or even comment during the committees.
Now, when they select, such as the Senate selected Randy Smith as the new speaker, new president, did that mean the new folks, the newly elected senators, did not vote?
No. For the caucuses, it is just the new people and the people that got reelected. So it is. So if you think in terms of 86th legislature, 87th legislature, for caucus, it is the 87th legislature that is caucusing.
Okay.
For interims and decisions we're making, it is the 86th legislature that is still has the power.
You good, Bill?
So the caucus, when you're electing the Senate president or the Speaker of the House, you're choosing who is going to lead you over the next 2 years.
Which makes perfect sense.
It does. Yeah, I did not realize we jumped from the caucus to the special session.
But you don't have two people getting paid at the same time, though, do you?
No. So if I were to give you an example, so on the Senate side, Senator-elect Tom Willis is down here, and Tom would have been in the caucus to elect the new Senate president. However, Tom is just an observer once that is all done and just observe what is going on in the interim meetings. Because he's not an official senator yet, and he's not getting paid for being down here.
He's the UN. He's an observer, baby.
That's correct. And you got to look at the caucus as a political thing, that it is merely the Republican caucus that is meeting. So it's the state Republican Party is holding that particular section of what is going on.
Mike, on that note, I got to go.
Oh, my gosh, that was quick.
Appreciate your time, brother.
All right, brother. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Take care.